Welcome to another edition of the Gulf Coast Growth Show. My name is Chad Burke. I'm president of the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region. With me today, good friend John Moseley from the Port of Houston, Port of Houston Authority. We've kind of tweaked the names over the years a little bit.
We have.
It's great to have you. You've been there a long time. We've known each other, gosh, ever since I got here 15, 16 years ago.
About the same time we got to the port.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about the Port of Houston. Yeah. They've got a lot of great projects going on. They're moving product in and out of here. Fantastic. Just a really kind of economic engine for the region. But before we dive into the port, I want people to know John Moseley a little bit. So give me the sketch, the career arc of John Moseley.
Moved out here 19 years ago as fast as I could. Originally from Los Angeles, California.
California boy, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. California State, LA Eagles, go.
Hey,
not a D1 university, but hey.
California State. This
good
sounds great.
pong team.
Yeah. There you go.
No, but international business degree, about 40 years in the industry, mainly on the maritime transportation side of things. Worked with a number of ocean carriers, worked abroad for a little bit. I've done a number of different things. And what brought me here was CMA CGM, world's third largest ocean carrier. I was running the Gulf region for them about 3 or 4 years, working with the petrochemical industry, the cotton industry, attracting importers. Right when Bayport opened, I actually came here in 2006 as part of a pre-marketing effort to kind of get prepared for the launching of the PEX 3, first trans-Pacific all-water service from Asia through the Panama Canal, calling it to Houston that CMA was running from Walmart and Exxon and those guys. So I've been here since, and then 3-4 years in, joined the port. It's been a great ride. Love Texas.
For our audience that aren't port centric like you and I are, so Bayport is well, I'm going to call it a fairly new container terminal.
Yeah. 2007.
It's almost 20 years.
Now. That's right. I moved here 6 months before it opened, so I kind of follow Bayport. It's very dear to me. It's a fantastic facility, and the way the port has evolved together to support the region has been phenomenal. It's just been incredible.
And so one of my favorite pictures, in fact, a friend of mine sent me a picture the other day, it must have hit someone's timeline, but one of my favorite experiences here at the Economic Alliance, and one of the favorite pictures that I have is from atop the cranes at Bayport. So we had a tour. We got to go up. We went all the way out on the arm. I don't know if y'all let people do. I don't know if you let people do that anymore, but that was really cool.
We really embraced the safety culture. So we've come a long way.
I don't know that we were tied off. But really phenomenal facility, and that paired with Barber's Cut container terminal make up what y'all probably move 95-97% of the containers in and out of Texas comes through the Port of Houston.
I mean, that's containers, and when you think about overall maritime transportation, I mean, Texas is by far the largest maritime gateway in the United States, and Houston leads the way, right? So overall, not just the containers, but when you think about it overall, number one port complex in the United States by stretches, 309 plus million tons of cargo per year. It's just a powerhouse. More ships than LA, New York combined.
It's when I tell people that, they're like, "What? Houston?" And it's staggering. The size and scope and scale of product that moves in and out of the Port of Houston. I mean, it really is the driver for really a lot of people. So I have the opportunity to speak to people even on the other side of Houston. And when I tell them the stats of everything that's going on in Port Houston, they're dumbfounded. They're like, what? That's happening here in Houston? And it's really the reason Houston exists.
Yeah. Well, it's a big reason for it, for sure. And I think what people need to understand sometimes, because they forget about this important port complex, right? Is that it's about maritime economic development. It's about economic development. More than 3.5 million jobs across the country, nearly $1 trillion worth of impact to the U.S. economy. It's
almost
amazing.
20% of the state's economy.
That's right.
You
Yes,
know?
sir.
And I'll say this because, the port does a great job of grabbing those stats, and we use those stats as leverage to show the importance of this region so that we can help get support for projects like Project 11, like our infrastructure projects and things like that. So
you guys do a great job, by the way. Thank you for everything you guys do.
It's a partnership. You mentioned the port's mission kind of in your comments right there. We basically have the same mission, and that's to grow this economy, right? And the Port of Houston does a great job with
this machine going.
Yeah. So let's jump in a little bit about. So we're talking a lot about growth and really the size of everything here. Talk to me a little bit, or tell our listeners a little bit about Project 11. Okay, not everybody. You and I have been working on that for probably 7-8 years. But Project 11, give them a quick thumbnail, and then kind of where we are right now.
All right, great. The project is moving at a very good pace. I mean, we're basically 70% of all the dredging for Project 11 is complete. What this is a once in a lifetime Jesse Jones kind of moment. It's the biggest project of this scale in the nation's history, and it's a $1 billion+ project to expand the Houston Ship Channel, the 11th time in our history.
Right? I love the creativity there. Project 11, Project 11 project.
11th time, make it real easy. And what we've done is we've moved it in record time. Yeah, I mean, we've kept it at budget. We've moved it on time. We've worked together with our industry stakeholders and partners to make this happen. It's important to the economy. And we've already completed segments 1A, 1B, and segment 2. By August, we'll have segment 1C completed, which takes it up to Barber's Cut container terminal.
Yep.
And once that's done, then basically the portion of the Port Authority, which is responsible for it, is done. Then we hand it over to the Army Corps, and they complete the remaining portions of the
up the channel all the way to the turn basin. Really,
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this means a safer, more efficient channel. It's already producing some considerable savings, reducing waiting times. Coming into the channel.
I tell people it's like this. Look, we're if you're running on a 2-lane road in the country, we just expanded it to a nice 4-lane road, just so it's safer, right? It went from 530 feet wide to 700 feet wide, right?
In the overall channel. Channel. There's still, it's you're still going to need to do the Texas chicken. You're still going to be, they're still very complex. It's not a simple thing, but these ships keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So we keep having to do this, but hey, it's just making things better. We need to continue doing that, but it doesn't eliminate the fact that we still need to do a lot of very complex maneuvers by our pilots that do just fine job.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to go out on the dredging ship early this year, maybe in December of last year, and spent almost a full day out there, just kind of touring the ship, watching the controller, literally digging away the edges. It was fascinating, and they do an amazing job. The guys are, staying out on that boat for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, doing their shifts and just living on that boat. Fantastic kind of accommodations for that kind of work environment, and just steadily working their way up the ship channel, widening that channel.
It's continuous, it's not a naturally deep port. It started as part of Buffalo Bayou, really 150 years ago. And we've just been continuously dredging this channel to become what it is now. Now, based on these first segments that we've completed, we're able to handle the new Maxi Neo Panamax container ships. Those are the 15, 17,000 TEU capacity ships. The biggest that can pass through the Panama Canal are able to come into our facilities, and in a couple of years we'll be able to do the same thing into Barber's Cut once that's completed. But we're already now able to do that to Bayport, and it means our ability to carry more of Houston's products and more of Texas grown and manufactured products to markets overseas. And it also means bringing in consumer goods to feed this growing population in the state of Texas, which is so hungry for all kinds of stuff, right? So,
yeah, I want to touch on that, what y'all are bringing in and what we're sending out in a second. But you had mentioned that Project 11 was probably the biggest that project of that type probably in the history of the country, right?
Yeah,
it's over $1 billion. Yeah. It's over $1 billion project, and I say y'all, the Port of Houston really knew that we had to get this done expeditiously, right? Or we begin to lose business if we're not moving product. So y'all took it upon yourselves out of the regular, I want to say, kind of the regular core process, which can take a long time on these projects.
That's right.
And y'all stepped up, really self-funded for the most part, a lot of this project, just like you did when you were prepping Bayport for the expansion of the Panama Canal. The same thing. You're like, no, we have to get ready so that Houston is competitive. And so, just in the last decade, twice I've seen the Port of Houston really kind of take the lead in making sure that we're not gonna wait on a slow government process to do this. We're gonna be leaders. We're gonna jump out. We're gonna find a way to do this in a timely manner so we're competitive, right? That's the mindset that I get from the Port of Houston.
We just really value our role, as being a massive economic driver for the region. And it's really about working with all the industry along the ship channel. I mean, we don't work in a silo. We are the advocate for the ship channel. We do oversee the ship channel and the greater port, but we need to work together with our partners and all the industry that's along the ship channel. So, working together with them, we asked, hey, do you all want to move this at your standard pace, or do you recognize the importance and the value of moving this forward? And we all agreed we got to move this forward. So it's like, look, we're going to step up and do our part. We took on some debt, some massive amounts of debt. Yeah. We did some things to kind of move these things very, very quickly, and we were able to take a 10-year project, something that takes a very long time, and did it in very short order. And now we're still working with our industry partners to find that mechanism to kind of recoup some of that cost. And that'll happen. We have a lot of confidence. We've got great relationship with our industry, and it's about, hey, let's together moving things forward. Right?
Yeah, and when you move strategically, intentionally forward like that, it benefits everybody. So industry, Port of Houston, this whole region, it helps continue that growth, which drives capital investment and job creation and all the other great things that come from that. And y'all have been a fantastic leader on that as far as support. We couldn't ask for a better partner, right? So let's move from the water side to the land side, where I know that the Port of Houston has been a tremendous leader on the land side of expanding our infrastructure, right? We've got projects, everything from expansion of 146, which the south section south of Bayport, that Kemah area is complete. Working on the section between the two container terminals right now, basically through LaPorte. Port of Houston has always been a leader on our freight infrastructure committee to really kind of add that hey, we're the port, we need this to move freight here. That project, the TxDOT recommended redevelopment of Highway 225 project, the direct connectors and flyovers around Beltway 8 and 225, which is just a log jam every day between 4 and 6 o'clock because everybody's trying to get through that intersection. And then all the way down to the west side, where we're going to have to build another, we're going to have to improve that 610 bridge right over the ship channel down close to closer into Houston. Huge projects that are necessary for us to keep up on the land side to be able to move that freight in and out of this region effectively. And the Port of Houston's been there every step of the way to really kind of show what we need and help lead and help kind of influence where we need it, getting the word out and showing the impact of it. So, I mean, whether it's water or land, we've got to be able to move products, and y'all have been a huge partner for that.
Yeah, thanks. No, you know what, you're spot on, Chad. It's about it's a multimodal connection. The port is about water. Mm-hmm. It's about landside infrastructure, and it's about egress, ingress, movement of goods in and out. Seaport connectivity.
Yep.
So a ship comes in or out. You need to have the ability to move those products, move those goods in and out to connect to the port.
Yep.
So we put a lot of effort into that, and actually we see that as one of the biggest challenges we have in front of us, which we're trying to tackle now. So working together with the Economic Alliance, with you guys, working together with our great elected officials and different officials that have been so supportive on both sides of the aisle.
Oh yeah,
it's bipartisan.
Yeah,
it's all about jobs, and everyone agrees on that. And then the other thing is working together with TxDOT. Harris County. The different organizations that play a pivotal role in ensuring we've got good infrastructure on the roads and the highways. There's some massive plans to do a lot of things on 225, on 146. We already all know we've got the Beltway 8, Sam Houston Parkway. Being
the bridge is being expanded right now. We see that every day up in the sky.
We'll be looking at the 610 going on. It's like, I've been here nearly 20 years. It's like, and what I've been told from native Houstonians is that, man, that construction's never ended. It's always been going on for the last 50 years, or more. And I've seen it the last 20. So, and it seems to be accelerating. So we really need to gather together, continue advocating for that.
Yep. And we do. We have great partners with the Port of Houston, great partners with Harris County. On a microcosm scale of that, last week we went to a groundbreaking from one of our trucking companies, and one of our members, which is an engineering firm that's going to build a brand new rail yard for them right off of 225, moving product in and out of this region. And they'll take it from rail to truck to the port. And the road that they were on is a 2-lane asphalt open ditch road. And so our very first conversation with the company is, let's set up a meeting and it's a county road. I said, let's set up a meeting with Commissioner Garcia and his staff and his engineers, and let's talk about expanding this road, 4 lanes, curb and gutter, 12-inch cement, so that we can create something that really moves those trucks in and out there more safely and more efficiently. Those are the types of projects, whether it's the 610 bridge and 225, or whether it's a 1 mile stretch of county road. We want this region to be able to move efficiently, because that's a cost center with the companies have to deal with when deciding where they want to make and move their products. And so if we can be efficient, then we can bring more goods into this region, manufacture more goods, and move more goods out to other markets around the world, right?
But that's a great example, and it's about expansion, construction, providing the right kind of capacity on the roads and the highways, going in and out of the port. But it's also about getting creative. For example, adjusting our operating hours. A lot of times we found that as industry continues to grow and volumes continue to grow at record pace, we're the fastest growing port in the country. There's no other port of the top 10 ports that's growing at the same pace we are. And we need to get creative and see how can we get some of that idle capacity to get working for us. So what we've been doing is expanding our gate hours. And one thing we're looking at now, we've looked at in the past that going to night hours, going to Saturday gates. Not every truck, not every warehouse is open at those times. So we need to try to get the entire system to sort of start adopting these off-peak hours.
Yep.
But we've been scaling up, and now we're going to start moving into opening up earlier in the morning. Yep. And we found that Houstonians like to get up early in the morning.
Yeah, get breakfast taco, jump in the truck. Let's go deliver some goods.
Let's get in there at 5 in the morning, and let's get some trucks moving.
I'm so glad you brought that up. And right, we've been talking about physical capacity projects to improve capacity, right? Increase capacity, whether it's road or water, right? But the really the greenfield of opportunity is the extra hours, right?
That's
Let's
right.
use our facilities. Let's use our infrastructure when it's not being used, right? We have a, if we're using it 8 hours a day, we got 2/3 of the time that we're not really maximizing our infrastructure to move product in and out of this region. So what an efficient way to increase our ability to move goods rather than taking 10 years to redevelop 225, which is going to take us probably 10 years, a decade to engineer and build that thing. Why don't we move to off hours when you can, when you and I aren't driving on the road, and then let's take advantage of the capacity. And that's a culture shift. Y'all have begun to move in that direction. I know y'all been trying and kind of, it's like the wheels are moving slow, but they're getting going. But we want to help with that messaging. And it really is, it's a culture shift. And the first time that this conversation came up, I was like, you know what, this region should be able to do that. This region understands shift work, understands evenings.
That's right.
All of these manufacturing facilities, for a century have been working around the clock to make goods. So we need to shift that culture and that mindset into the basically the delivery side or the movement of goods side of that equation. We've got 2/3 capacity that's just sitting there not being used.
During the day, while the school buses are out, or while the folks are out at going in and out of their offices or whatever, or people are out doing their shopping and everything like that. Hey, let's try to move stuff on those off hours when those roads aren't being used.
Exactly.
That terminal isn't being used, right?
Exactly.
You move those trucks at those hours.
So we're right there lockstep with you on that. We want to help kind of move the culture and the mindset into taking advantage of the assets we have for longer hours, so that because we can do that real fast. Whereas like I said, it's going to take us.
That's a really easy fix.
It's a quick step. It's a low hanging fruit. It's going to take us a decade or so to build a new road, right?
Yeah.
So excellent. I'm so glad you brought that up. All right, let's touch real quickly on everybody's hot topic, tariffs. Y'all do a great job of tracking every single container that goes in and out of here. So y'all know the numbers, and I follow a little bit. And we're off to a good start this year, despite tariffs that are kind of this uncertainty of where we are with all of our different trading partners, right?
Yeah.
Give us the John Moseley, insight into what has the impact been, and what do you think it might be moving forward?
Yeah.
Your best guess.
Yeah. No, well, it's hard. No one's got a
Mr.
crystal ball.
President. What's going to happen next?
Well, no one's got a crystal ball. I think, as a representative of the port, we're sort of, we're of course monitoring this very closely. And our CEO, Charlie Jenkins, is doing a phenomenal job getting out there to Washington several times. He was just out there about a week ago out in the White House. He's providing testimony up in Congress. He was there several times in March, I think it was, and he's been following this. We've been following this together with our government relations team closely since all these executive orders and the tariff impacts were starting to change, right? And of course, we were contacted by a lot of the users and business leaders here in the region that were also trying to understand and how they were going to adapt to this. But at the end of the day, of course, we're supportive of our elected officials and whatever decisions they're gonna make. We're proud of them, but we need to be prepared. We need to figure out how we can kind of move through this. Sometimes it does, in some cases, depending on the timing, can add considerable cost to us. So I think working together, through this process and trying to find ways to find something where it gets us to the same goal, but helps to mitigate some of these things, that orders that might be already in the pipeline, is kind of the way to go, right? I'm just thinking ship-to-shore cranes, for example.
Right.
Things that have a 2-3 year lead time that have already been ordered, and now we're facing perhaps up towards of 300% added cost. We're going back to resources, right? Resources are limited. We're trying to expand the ship channel. We're trying to expand roads and highways. We're investing in these things, and we're trying to find the right way to do those things. But But the numbers themselves are quite interesting because Houston and the state of Texas, we all know that we're I don't want to sound a little funny saying this, but we're special, right? We're different than any other place in the country.
I don't think you should have any hesitancy saying that we're special.
We're very different, I mean, we're very different. That's why when CMA, when I had an opportunity to move 3 years after moving here, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm anchoring right here. Yeah. Something's going on. Something really cool is going on here. So, but what's interesting is that because of our location and our unique business environment and the industry that we have here in Texas, we're a little bit shielded in a
almost
way.
Insulated.
A little bit insulated from a lot of the things happening on the West Coast or on the East Coast.
Yeah.
We're not Trans-Pacific centric. We're not transatlantic centric. If you look at our book of business, it's very diverse. We've got this really big mix of different trades that we do.
Yep.
Asia, Europe, Mediterranean, Middle East, Indian subcontinent, Africa, South America, Central America. And we don't feel the impact of some of these things as strongly as other markets do.
Yep.
And then when you think about our import, export, our manufacturing base and our import base, it's extremely balanced, So if you think about a West Coast port, very import centric, very Trans-Pacific centric. China trade talks, sneeze, they feel it. Their volumes drop 20+% or whatever. In our case, we're not as exposed as a lot of other places.
You did a great job explaining that. I mean, when you're diverse, your risk is lower for interruptions. When you have a manufacturing base like we do, we're shipping out containers that are full rather than shipping empty containers, back to the other side of the world. And then another thing that we have an advantage, we have a robust FTZ or foreign trade zone.
We do,
kind of market.
The biggest in the country.
Yeah. So and that allows companies to take advantage of those zones to bring product in. Before it gets taxed, manufacture it, move it, process it, and then ship it out at their advantage.
When you think about our petrochemical industry, I mean, it's the largest petrochemical cluster in the world, right? And it's enormous, or at least in the Americas. And I only say the world because the other one is in Northern Europe, and they keep saying we're bigger than they are. So, okay,
I heard the Rotterdam folks say that we were the biggest.
Yeah. I'll take it. I'm rolling with that. So, but the thing is, what we make is such a base raw material that you need it. In your everyday life.
Everything we touch.
Right? So it's going to move. It's going to be made. There's always a constant demand for that. It's like milk, right? Or whatever. So, so you think about that, and then you think about how we're so diverse. It really helps. Our numbers have been very strong this year, as a matter of fact, compared to everybody else. Naturally, we start off the year January, February, seasonal stuff, fog, stuff like that. But then March was strong. April, we still moved forward, but it wasn't as strong. And then now we're looking at May. It's looking pretty good. So, I think you're looking pretty good.
That's good. I like the uniqueness of Houston and really the way that we do business here. It puts us in a special spot, just like you said. All right, so let's close with this. Great information today. Great information. Everybody's going to love this. But you've been there, almost 20 years at the port. What over your career, you've probably, you've been around the world, you've seen a lot of things. What's the coolest thing that you've either done or the coolest thing about working at the Port of Houston?
Yeah. You know what? It's about service. To me, I'm just immensely proud. I came from the private sector, and it was about returns and profits and things like that, and shareholders. But here it's about being part of something that's 100-year plus legacy that's just making this region great. And it's just great to be a part of that. Just put my little effort and kind of be a caretaker, moving on to the next generation. It's a generational thing. It's just something that I'm incredibly proud of. And but on behalf of the port, I'd say something that I think we're all very proud of are the things we do for the community. For example, the things we do with workforce development. I know you guys do, and you guys are big partners with us as well.
Y'all's a lot maritime, of the work that the port's done in maritime careers all the way down into the high schools, just phenomenal.
Yeah. Now we're going down even another level down to get these young minds thinking about lucrative and very successful careers in this industry. But whether it's workforce development, maritime education, and the community itself, right now we're launching massive initiatives to work together with industry along the ship channel. Yep. All the big industries and all the big companies. Everyone kind of does their thing. Now we're about to start moving things in a direction where we can all combine our efforts to have even greater impact, greater results to all the people that live and work in this region, which we're so proud of. So those are the things that give me personally an immense amount of pride. And I know at the port, I can speak on behalf of everyone else at the port that we're very proud of what we do for the community and what we do for others here in the region.
Well, it's, the Port of Houston, just like our industry partners, I think one of the goals or mantras is, hey, we want to be good neighbors, right? Because this Port of Houston is unique. The whole Houston Ship Channel is unique. Right. It runs through over a dozen different cities and communities. The port is not only a good neighbor, but they run from someone who has worked very closely with and seen how the Port of Houston works and how they grow in their goals and kind of strategies. It's run like a very efficient business, right? It's it's proactive, it's community involved, it's mission driven. Y'all got your eye on the ball is kind of the way I would put it, and it makes Houston competitive. It makes us competitive for all of these great things that create jobs and tax base and community and schools and all the things that go on in this region. It's because you've got an anchor company, I call it a company organization like the Port of Houston Authority that is really working to drive commerce. And, we couldn't ask for a better partner. We're lucky to have the Port of Houston here and as good a business partner as they are in the region. So
Thank you, Chad. It's really, I got to give all the credit to the men and women that work at the port, that work with the port, our labor, everyone, our leadership, our partners like Economic Alliance. I just wanted to just close with one quick comment that, as we look at the future for Texas, it's just bright. It's just so much for decades to come that we just want to ensure that we're building and ensuring the infrastructure is there to support industry, to support those jobs. Mm-hmm. Our container facilities, we're looking at how we can squeeze every amount of utilization out of what we've got.
Yep.
We've got Bayport, we have Barbers Cut. We're looking at the third terminal now.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure we've always got ample capacity, that the Port Authority is moving forward with terminals that we're operating, that we're moving to ensure the future.
So, at some point we're going to have you back, and we'll talk about that next terminal at some point. Looking forward, right? I mean, y'all are
really excited.
Yeah. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Chad.
Coming out here and having a conversation. This is going to be a great episode. Looking forward to letting everybody hear this and getting to know you a little bit better and kind of deep dive into the Port of Houston. But for now, that'll wrap up this session of the Gulf Coast Growth Show. Thank you to John Moseley, our good friend, and we'll see you soon.